and we're going to hear from him in a little while. Fred Green is really running away with this championship so far, but only a few races. Lewis, as the commentator, you must be enjoying what you've seen.
Look, I love it. Obviously, Oulton Park is such a fun track for the drivers to go to. It's a really exciting one, and Fred Green started out so well this season. 4 races down, 3 victories, 3 pole positions, but he's not on pole this time. Alex O'Grady is going to be starting from there, and obviously he won round here in some very, very different conditions last year.
Yeah, of course, it's a very curious weekend. It's the only weekend of the year where we race on Saturday, then we have Sunday completely off and then come back on Monday. So Lewis, I have to ask you the question, what did you do with your Sunday?
I play golf with you.
We played golf. I think other people did very similar things. Drivers playing golf. I've seen drivers going to food markets in Chester. Jason Pribyl, who's going to join us in the assembly area, he was lapping this track, but not in a car, he was running around it. So loads of things going on. Obviously, if you're coming down here today, make sure you bring some sun cream and some water, because it's going to get up to, you said, 32 degrees.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very, very hot day. It's going to be tough for the drivers to keep the tyres in check. Not so much in this early morning race, where it's pretty warm, but it'll be fine out there for racing. But the one that we're having a little bit later on this afternoon, that reverse grid race, is going to be very, very critical to make sure you've got some tyre life in, and also keep your head cool, because it's going to be really tough there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be hot and sweaty. As I say, if you're coming down, make sure you bring some water, bring some sun cream, and we will bring you this coverage if you are not coming down as we go racing for the first time in just a few minutes or so. And then one more race a little bit later on, about 5 hours after the end of this race. So before we talk more about this race, let's take a look back at what happened on Saturday, the first race of the weekend at Oulton Park.
Highlights from round 4 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It was Fred Green leading from pole position into the opening corner. A big look to the inside, and the white and red of Thomas Ingram Hill would actually drag Torrin Byrne into the fight for the top 5. There was a look to the outside as Alex O'Grady went to the right hand side of the drivers run their way down into Cascades. He looked to the outside of Fred Green, but could not get past the bright orange. Holding firm going into Island Bend, it was Fred Green up ahead. Jordan Martin would have a bit of a spin, unfortunately, on the exit of the Britain chicane. Will be able to get back going, and there was a late retirement, a technical issue for Luke Hilton. For Fred Green, it was a perfect drive at the front of the field. He would bring the 51 up towards the line for the 3rd time this season as a winner, dragging along Alex O'Grady and Enzo Holman behind. Absolute perfection from our championship leader once again.
How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, quite hot, but yeah, it was a good race. Alex kept me under lots of pressure, which was exciting. Something a bit different to the other races I've won, but yeah, it was a good race. I'm really thankful to the team and my engineer and driver coach Simon Finnis and Johnny Kane. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's.
Alex, you pushed him all the way there, but no real slip up. I guess you're just waiting for that kind of one mistake that you can capitalise on.
Yeah, I think around here it's nearly impossible if you're the same pace and you're in the dirty air. Really, it's really tough because you get close and then you start understeering and using up your tyres. So yeah, halfway through the race I kind of backed off a bit. There was no point sitting in dirty air, and I knew he was not going to make any major mistakes, so there's no point in trying to push him too hard. But you know, we got a good start for once, which was cool, and I nearly had him into T2, but I didn't want to risk chopping across him because I would have ended up being taken out and he would have kept on going. So yeah, it's good points, and I'm happy enough with it.
And also your second podium of the season. How are you feeling after that one? It was tough to make too much progress on those two.
Yeah, I mean, I made a small mistake in T1. I think I touched the grass a little bit and the rear fell out. So yeah, that's really when I lost them. And when you're losing the toe, it's quite impossible to gain back. So just trying to keep the tires as good as possible, and having Ingram behind me, as having a look, one lap, and good race. Just keep it simple and clean.
So that's another win for Fred Green. Lewis, he's won every single race that's been qualified for so far this season. But as you said, Alex O'Grady will start on pole position, and Alex was saying there that, you know, struggling to get past Fred, and obviously getting off the line is probably the best place to try and get an overtake. Would you agree?
100%. Obviously the run down into the opening corner is so short round here, a couple of 100 metres really from that from the front row. But it is the best place to do it. Getting off the line well, getting that aggressive move into the opening corner is the only way to do it. Alex O'Grady did go on the attack early doors, almost got the move through Cascades, the second, third corner. But after that point, dirty air's a little bit too high around here. This track is very narrow, and it's difficult to pass that. Not impossible to. We did see a few drivers work their way up the order. Davies gained 4 places up into the top 10, great drive.
Yeah.
It is possible to get those moves, but it's still tremendously difficult.
Yeah, and you have to remember that a lot of these drivers are coming from other karting series where they're stepping up to these cars for the first time, so starts is something that they've not done many of. We've only had 4 rounds up until this 5th round that we're bringing you in a second, so you know, as the season goes on they'll nail these starts, but starts can be a little bit funky on occasion, so get the start right and you can really benefit here at Oulton Park, a track that's very difficult to overtake at, and I think that's what a lot of the drivers were saying to us after the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the thing is, as much as it is hard to overtake at, it's a lot of fun. Drivers love this track. Yeah, sure, sometimes the racing, they'll come out of the race and think, that was an amazing race. It's like, well, nothing really happened. But they'll love driving around here. It's such a good test of a driver, this one, especially, you know, the amount of track that you can use. Going down to the Hislop chicane, they were taking it all the way over to the white line, having a great time throwing it through, and the bravery through Druids around the back end of the track. It's a lot of fun. And so drivers still love it, even though it is tough to overtake. But you know, we've raced here now in GB4 for 5 seasons. We've had a lot of drama around here. Obviously, last year with the wet weather interruption. The first year we came here, I think it was 4 of the cars stalled on the grid. The series has come a long way.
Yeah.
We don't really get that anymore. Drivers are so strong when it comes to those race starts, so it's even getting harder and harder to take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, not many changes in the top 10 for that first race, but you never know. It's a whole new day. As I say, temperatures up to 32 degrees today, so it's going to get a lot hotter. Let's have a quick live look at the temperature right now. 21 degrees already, and it's only just after 9 a.m. Anyway, let's hear from some of the drivers I caught up with after that first race on Saturday. So, Torrin, your best race result, 5th place in that first race of this weekend here after those 2 9th places at Silverstone. You're learning quickly, very clearly.
Yeah, I think it's what we wanted and we're really happy with what we got. It's definitely more where we feel like we should be, and yeah, we were all really happy.
So looking at that race, there weren't too many movements in positions. It was obviously one of those ones where you're waiting for the person around you to make a mistake, and everyone kind of kept it very, very clean. It's very tough when that's the start of your weekend, I guess, because it sets the precedent for what's to come.
Yeah, we always knew it was going to be hard to race on here, and I got a good start, which is always going to be important, and that's the only move I made for the whole race. But yeah, just kind of sat at quite an even gap for the rest of the race, but it's still fun to race, obviously.
Well, I mean, if you can get 2 top 5 positions at the first 2 races and then see what happens in the reverse grid race, that's a pretty decent weekend, I think, at Oulton Park. What are you going to do with the Sunday off? Because it's a slight anomaly that we have this race weekend every year.
Yeah, I'm going to come here still to kind of not spend too long away from it, possibly do a little track walk just for something to do, and then going to go for dinner in Chester.
Oh, and where are you going in Chester? What's the cuisine?
Chester Food Market, I think it's called, something like that.
Sounds like a nice mix.
Sounds like I can't wait.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So you can debrief this race, food market, and then we'll see you again on Monday. Where are you starting on the grid, remind me?
P9, I think.
Right, so if you're going to get that top 5 finish again, you're going to have to do some overtaking. Where are you going to be doing overtaking if there is a place?
Get a good start again.
Everyone's saying off the line. It seems like that's the best option.
I proved it then, so let's go do it again.
More of the same on Monday. We look forward to it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tom, 4th place in the first race this weekend. Very tough to overtake here at Oulton Park.
Yeah, I experienced it firsthand. Enzo made a bit of a mistake, had a run, but just nothing I can really do. You know, as soon as you get close, you just don't have the front to really challenge. You know, you can be within half a second, you're still struggling to really do anything.
So you're kind of sitting there hoping that someone in front maybe gets held back by an overtake or maybe makes a mistake, but when that doesn't happen, it must be quite frustrating.
Yeah, it's a bit boring. Like, you know, I really enjoy racing and everything, but when you're just sitting there and following and not really doing anything, it's a bit hard to really create those opportunities to enjoy it. But overall, you know, still happy to be here and, you know, got some good points.
Well, you're starting 4th for this second race on Monday as well, after a day off. What are you doing with your day off?
Maybe some mini golf or something. I think maybe watch the Indy 500 and the Canadian Grand Prix.
So lots more racing, so it's not really a day off. Bit of research for the future, ideally. When it comes to that 4th place start, a lot of the drivers are telling me that off the line is possibly the best place to make up those places. How do you rate your starts compared to some of the other drivers? Because some of them look like they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, you know, they're not the worst things. Had some issues, but, you know, we're getting better. But overall, you know, we get the good starts. We're not wheel spinning. It's just the initial part we're working on. But I think we've got it sorted for this next race coming up on Monday.
It's obviously going to be very hot on Monday as well. Have you got some kind of cooling system going on? We see all the F1 drivers with their cooling vests. Have you got like a paddling pool out the back full of ice cubes?
No, I got my mechanic fanning me and got an umbrella. So yeah.
It's a nice life to have someone to do that. Well, look, congratulations on those points, and we'll hopefully see more on Monday.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Well, we're here at Oulton Park in the Idola Motorsport awning, and it looks quite normal. There's cars here, you've got the truck here, you've got branding, but not all teams have the same out the back. Sometimes there's people washing tyres, there'll be people fixing bits of cars. Come and have a look at what's going on at Idola. We've got some kind of gourmet restaurant going on in here. Kimmy's getting herself some food. Looks like some kind of steak sandwich, and I believe the chef's called Paul.
That's correct. Yeah.
Paul, what we got today?
We're doing steak baguettes with onions, wedges and fresh salad.
This is, do you know any other chefs that do GB4?
No, just me, I think.
Right, have you got any other teams trying to sneak into this catering?
No, not that I know of. I'm a chef by trade. I'm actually retired, but I do this for fun because I watch motorsport.
What's your favourite series? Is it GB4?
I like being with Idola, yeah, GB4. Excellent, yeah.
Who's your favourite driver of all time?
Oh, Damon Hill, I think. Yeah.
96 world champ? 96 world champ.
Like that, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you see any of these young drivers you could emulate Damon Hill?
Oh, possibly, very possibly, yes, yeah.
Well, you're fueling these young drivers and also
yes,
the crew as well, which is very admirable. What's on the menu later in the week?
Well, we've done. What have we got? Chicken tikka masala. We do anything here with the under the what we've got. I spent 14 years at Le Mans doing catering for 400 people on one of the campsites at Le Mans, so that's how I got into the motorsport thing.
You've got to have a story from Le Mans.
Oh, I've got loads of stories from Le Mans. They were too long. No,
okay, they're too long.
Yeah.
We'll come and find you another time, Paul. But this is absolutely amazing, and obviously you're keeping the team happy and keeping the drivers fit and healthy. So I like your work.
This is just a grab and go thing for lunchtime. We do proper meals in the evening. We do full English breakfast. You know.
If you know racetrack food, you'll know that this is unheard of. And if people want to find any scraps, if they're coming down out the back of Idola, there'll be like a scraps bucket or something. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Well, look, Paul's getting everyone here fit and healthy. I can see a salad over here, and obviously health and fitness. Oh, desserts. Paul's mentioning desserts. Let's go. Let's roll around here.
Yeah, we've got some eaten mess and lemon meringue pie. It's all homemade. So
you don't see.
They eat very well here.
They do eat very well here. You don't see this. Are the drivers allowed the dessert, or are they strictly?
No, they choose what they want to have. We do high protein meals for the drivers as well if they request it, pasta, that sort of thing, carbs. Yeah.
I'm absolutely blown away, Paul. This looks absolutely fantastic. Idola Motorsport know what they're doing, and obviously Paul is fueling the whole team, including their drivers. And let's hear now from a driver who made his debut at Silverstone last time out, Jamie Leverton, who's just from down the road at Stoke-on-Trent. Jamie, second race weekend of the GB4 season. Obviously Silverstone was your first taste of racing these GB4 cars. How did you feel that went?
I felt like I could have done a lot better, but of course it's my first race weekend, so there's always room for improvements, but hopefully we'll see a massive improvement this weekend for Oulton.
How do you and the team approach making improvements? Because obviously you can focus on many different areas when you're starting out in a new championship, but some drivers like to focus on one thing at a time. What's your method?
Yeah, but I think I've been thrown in the deep end with doing bare minimum test sessions really, but I think I'm ready for it, and hopefully in a few races time I'll be fighting at the top.
So Oulton Park's your local track because you're from just down the road in Stoke-on-Trent. Have you driven here before many times?
I've done about, I think, 3 days in the car here, so it's probably one of my better tracks, but yeah, there's always room for improvements on tracks, but I'd say this is one of my better ones.
When you obviously come from down the road, are you going to have more friends and family here this weekend cheering you on, and is that a good thing because obviously it's a bit more pressure?
Yeah, I think they'll be about the same as Silverstone because they're quite loyal and come and watch me, but no, hopefully I do get a big following because it does cheer me up.
Talk to me about when you unveiled this car, because you were very, very lucky to be allowed into the Bet365 Stadium at Stoke City. How hard was that to arrange?
Relatively not too bad, because my mum still knew someone who worked there, which put a bit of stuff in the works, but no, we just got in contact with them. They said I could definitely do it, so we got it down to the ground and had pictures with the players in the stadium. Was
there ever a suggestion maybe you get the club colours on the car? That would be cool.
Well, there's something cooking up in the sauce, but no, it'll have to be later on the season.
Let's talk about their season. Not a great season for Stoke City, nearer the bottom but away from the relegation zone. They ever going to get back in the Premier League?
I just don't want to talk about it. It's a bit poor at the moment, but no, I think next season we could push a bit higher up in the league, but this season, write it off.
Favourite ever player? John Walters, Peter Crouch, who have you gone for?
I like Bojan.
Okay.
He's a good player.
Excellent. Well, channel some of that energy that he possesses, and we'll see what you can get on this weekend at Oulton Park.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And we're here in the assembly area now. Jamie Leverton will start 19th in this race, so a little bit far back. It'll be interesting to see what he can do for Idola. Jason Pribyl's here. I mean, we've seen they're just there. Idola Motorsport have got a personal chef at the back. Have you ever heard of that at this level of motorsports before?
Not in F4. No, I don't think so. It's I mean, you got to keep your team fed. You got to keep your people happy, right? And fitness, especially in weather like this, is really important. So they're taking care of their team, taking care of their driver. Happy team is a happy car. So it's a good call from them.
I'll go and check in with Chris and see what's for dessert a little bit later on. We mentioned earlier in the intro, myself and Lewis, that you did a few laps here yesterday. Or was it just one lap? Maybe just one lap?
It was just one lap. It was quite warm yesterday, so I decided to get a 5K out in the sun, and it was all right.
18-minute lap, something like that?
Yeah, just a little bit slower than the GB4, but I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I couldn't do that, no chance. I'm impressed you went out on a very hot day. It's going to be about 31 degrees here a little bit later on. This race, maybe about 23, 22 degrees, so that's obviously going to affect the tyres quite a lot.
Yeah, I think relatively similar conditions on Sunday with at least with the weather. Obviously, the sun's been out for a little bit less time, so maybe the track temp will be a bit lower than the air temp. It's well, so that dew point sort of humid, a little bit higher speeds, just given will be a little bit more active. Strategy today. Cars out here with new tires, and yeah, we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, Hilton's tires were that to bear in mind. Same as Matt. I think left side as well. Kind of a very race on Saturday. He said they could do similar race.
It's hard to say. A lot of people have kind of set their expectations based off of this race. I think it's going to be another very tense race, but besides that, maybe we'll see a little bit more overtaking now that a couple of drivers are more comfortable with this circuit. The first race will be the most intense one or the least intense one because drivers are a little bit nervous. They don't know the passing places. They don't know how to race on this circuit yet. So now that everyone's got one race under their belt, I think we can see some more passing, but I definitely think it'll be an interesting race nonetheless.
Yeah, of course it will. It always is in GB4. Let's just remind ourselves then of where we're racing. This is the most northern track we race at in the GB4 Championship. This is Oulton Park.
The Oulton Park circuit plays host to the third weekend of 2025. An iconic circuit, very narrow, very twisty indeed. That run through Old Hall at the first corner, then down the avenue into Dentons and Cascades, along Lakeside as we flick through the flat-out left-hander at Island Bend, onto the brakes into the banked corner of Shell Oils. Then they'll head their way through the Britain chicane before we rise up and over the crest at Hilltop and then down into the Hislops chicane. It goes right and then left, extremely tight with the tyre bundles, and then through Knickerbrook and up the hill as they go past Water Tower and then up towards the Druids corner, a double apex right-hander before the last run down into Lodge corner, up Deer Leap and onto the start-finish straight. One of the main features around here, of course, along with its narrowness, is the undulation. One of the primary features around this 2.7-mile circuit. Lots of lumps and bumps for the drivers to be dealing with as they wrestle the 17 corners of the Oulton Park circuit. 22 metres of elevation all the way around, that biggest rise as they come up Clay Hill.
That is Oulton Park. Jason, when you ran around it, where was the best bit to run around? Is it different to when you drive around?
I'd say so. The first sector is downhill, so I enjoyed that part quite a bit. The rest of the track is uphill. My favorite sector on this track is the third sector, just running through Druids, down the back straight, through the trees and stuff like that. It's a scenic track, right? And it can almost get you distracted because of how beautiful it is. So different priorities, but yeah, I mean, these cars, they've got good enough power. They're obviously going to be carrying a lot of speed in the first sector, but yeah, around here, it's a beautiful track nonetheless.
Yeah, it really, really is. And Jason was telling me actually earlier on that someone has gone into Strava and mapped out the different sectors of the track so that you can map your sector times as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, somebody has put the corner names into Strava, which is awesome. So I'm not the first one to be doing a run around here.
I love that. I don't know if we're almost ready to go or not, or maybe we'll take a look at the championship. I'm just looking around here, working out whether they are going. For a moment there, I thought we were going a second ago, but I haven't heard a whistle yet. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do. When it comes to Fred Green, he's been really dominant so far. He's won every single race that's been qualified for. He's now got to overtake if he's going to win and keep that record up. But we know it's tricky to overtake here. I think we're going to be looking at the start here, aren't we, between Alex O'Grady and Fred Green?
Yeah, it's a balance between whether or not he's feeling ready to go and being in second. Thinking about how the fact that since he's second, he has to get a good start. What that does to a driver's mind, it depends on the driver, right? Some drivers will be really happy, they'll be really energized to kind of, you know, fight on that lap 1, and others might overcompensate for that. So we'll see if he gets a good jump off the line. Obviously, Alex O'Grady has got good experience in this car, so he knows how to take a start, and he had a good one yesterday, just barely missed out on that lead coming out of Cascades. So again, it'll be a great race, especially on that first lap, and I think a lot of these drivers I talked to over Saturday and then this morning, and a lot of them are just saying it's all about the start, all about how you get off the line, where you're going to make the most positions.
As someone who's done GB4, stepped up to GB3, obviously you know these cars very well, you know the track very well. If you're Enzo Hallman in 3rd place, how are you approaching it? Are you hoping that maybe they battle too hard into one of the first few corners and you get your opportunity to do a little bit of a Lando if you watched the F1 yesterday?
Yeah, that was quite interesting. Hopefully this race will be just as interesting as the F1 drivers made it. But yeah, I think Hallman is gonna, like I said, just see what happens. I think a lot of these drivers are feeling the same way. It's about how aggressive these two in the front are going to be, how willing, how risk-taking, you know, they're going to be, and yeah, really, I can't predict much more than you can at this stage because this is GB4 after all. You never really know what's about to happen.
Yeah, of course, and obviously if you watched the F1 or the Indy 500 yesterday, such an amazing weekend of racing, and we brought you that one race on Saturday in the GB4 Championship as well, which was thrilling, and now we have our second bite at the cherry. 3 races this weekend. The reverse grid race is coming up a little bit later on, but for the second time this weekend, the first time on Bank Holiday Monday, let's go racing here at Oulton Park.
It is a tradition we've got used to here in the GB4 Championship, racing on a Bank Holiday Monday on the fantastic circuit of Oulton Park. It is a beautiful day for racing. It's going to be very hot and very difficult for the drivers, but this is the circuit they'll be navigating their way around. The run through Old Hall, down Dentons and Cascades, along the avenue past Lakeside, and then into the Island Bend. The Shell Oils corner before we come out through the Britain chicane, tricky to navigate. Of course, up Hilltop, down to the Hislop chicane, through Britain to the Rise, up Clay Hill, past Water Tower, and then through Druid's fantastic double right-hander for 2 more corners. One really, Lodge corner, a final proper corner, before rising up at Deer Leap and onto the start-finish straight once again. Not the longest circuit we raced, 2.7 miles roughly, about 4.3 kilometres all the way around, 17 tricky to navigate corners, and we talk about the narrows, we talk about the undulation and elevation, and we talk about a brilliant track. We can see the cars, they've come out of the assembly area, they're working their way round to the start finish where they'll begin their formation lap, and at present, of course, Fred Green is our championship leader. He will not be starting this one from pole position. It's Alex O'Grady who won here last year in, as I've said a few times on the broadcasts this weekend, conditions that couldn't be more different. Last year it was wet, it was somewhat miserable. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Some of the drivers said it was miserable, but it was very exciting. Today, it is going to be perfect. 24 degrees, about 11 kilometres an hour of wind, so a little bit of wind out there for the drivers to deal with, but nothing too major. 29 cars will take to the grid. There is 2 grid drops to talk of. We've got John O'Donnell and we've got Lily Watkins, both with 5-place grid penalties after issues yesterday, and certainly an awful lot of fun. Running straight over from the assembly area, not quite as out of breath as my normally, I guess, your senior, in a sense, co-commentator Piers Pryor, who's not with us this weekend. Jason Pribyl joins us, not quite as out of breath. How was that?
You know, I think they don't understand what work us commentators have to put in over the weekend. weekend.
I mean, when you say us commentators, I just sit here in the comms booth, and we've got some air conditioning. We're switching that on a little bit later on. Let me tell you, you can see there that rise up to Deer Leap, that incredibly difficult starting zone that some of the drivers have to deal with. I mean, what's that? I mean, I don't know where you were starting. I can't remember where you were starting last year. I don't think you started that far back.
No, I was just conveniently right at the top of the hill, so I had flat ground, as flat as it gets, really.
Yeah, which is certainly one of the main advantages, starting from those top positions. You can see there, Alex Gray. There's Fred Green in the bright orange, the Elite Motorsports car, the championship leader, 105 points to his name, 20 clear of the drivers that's going to be starting from pole position. The green flag's out and the formation lap will begin. Every one of the 29 cars will work their way forward, and fingers crossed they'll get their way round. There was a stall on the grid yesterday from Jassa Iskander, so we'll hope that Fox Motorsport car's going, and I don't see any stallers on the grid, so we'll be able to flick our way through this 29 car starting field on Bank Holiday Monday, first of 2 races. There's a look at the car that we're starting at the moment from the reverse grid pole in this afternoon's race. Race winner, Dayton Coulthard there. Let's talk through the starting grid then. It's Alex O'Grady, race winner here last season, starting alongside championship leader Fred Green in second spot. Enzo Holman finished on the podium yesterday. He'll be starting from third. Thomas Ingram Hill started fourth, finished fourth, starts fourth again. He'll be on that second row alongside. Matan Achitov will start from fifth position. He went down to sixth yesterday. Luke Hilton, unfortunately retired from yesterday's race. He'll be starting from sixth. Franek Shigalski will start from seventh alongside Connor Willis, who's on 4 consecutive top 10s to start his GB4 career. Torren Bernard, a personal best performance yesterday. He'll be starting alongside Emilio Valentino Del Grosso inside the top 10. 11th and 12th is Josh McLean and Dayton Coulthard, the expected front row of this afternoon's reverse grid race. On row number 7, it's Archie Davies, who got inside the top 10 yesterday after gaining 4 spots. Connor Grant will start from 14th alongside for Douglas Motorsports. Behind that, we've got Jordan Martin, who ended up finishing down in 25th position yesterday after a troublesome race, starting alongside Michael Coe for Arden Motorsport. Behind that, it's Jason Smith, who still sits 4th in the championship. Started yesterday 13th, starts today 17th. He'll be starting alongside Charlie Myers, who did not have a particularly good race yesterday. Jamie Levinson heard from him before the race alongside Romy Bouquet. Of course, the Scorpio Motorsports driver. Still a few rows left to go with Dimitri Nolan and John O'Donnell, one of those drivers that has a 5-place grid drop, starting down in 22nd position. Jassa Iskander retired from the race, started from the pit lane. Holly Marr will start alongside in 24th position with Archie Bullard, another retirement from yesterday's race alongside Solad Amaraush. The final couple of rows sees Caitlin McDaniel start alongside Enzo Ruggiero. The final row of the grid will see the sole driver of Lily Watkins after a 5-place grid penalty from yesterday's racing. We've spoken before about the conditions, but I want to hear your opinion as a driver. At least this time in the morning, this feels like it's a good time to go racing. The conditions feel all right. We know it's going to get hotter, but right now you've got to soak it in.
Yeah, I like I mentioned in the assembly area, the air temp is hot. Obviously, it's very humid, but the sun's been out for only a few hours. It's not like it's 3 p.m. The sun's been beating down all day. The track temp is a little bit cooler than what it will be. This is the best time today to be racing, right? It's not going to get much better than this. And as you can see, compared to yesterday, even though these drivers are weaving quite a lot, they're not weaving as much as yesterday because they don't really need to. Yeah. The tires are warm. They've been sitting in the sun in assembly area for a while. And so, the tires are hot. They're doing a couple of burnouts. Obviously, coming down the back straight, they're not allowed to do any burnouts past the bridge. So now they're just sitting there. But the tires are warm. They're warming them up a little bit less. Maybe that's a bit of tiredness already setting in because these drivers have been sitting in the car for about 30 minutes by now. And so that adds up. Even though they're single-seaters, they've got the open top, it gets really, really hot in there regardless of what kind of car you're in.
Yeah, it's not like driving a convertible or something down the... again, you get the air conditioner on, it's all good. Obviously, the cars setting themselves into their positions. According to my live time, track temperature is about 27 degrees. I suspect it's probably a little bit hotter than that at certain points of the racetrack, but that is still plenty for these tyres to deal with. 20 minutes will go onto the board, and the drivers will get themselves ready for round 5 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. The grey car at the front of your shot is Alex O'Grady. who gets going well alongside Fred Green on that front row. There was also a good start from Luke Hilton from the third row, and a great one from Enzo Holman, who gets along the inside of Fred Green at the opening corner, but Green in that orange will hold firm. Thomas Ingram Hill gets pushed out wide in the white and red Vortec car, and one of the Douglases going out wide through the opening complex of corners. Down the hill into Cascades they go. It is still the same 1, 2, 3 and 4. There's some big lock-ups and a couple of cars off the road. That's Josh O'Donnell, I think. John O'Donnell rather, off the road with Dayton Coulthard, I think.
I think that's Josh McLean. Those two are starting side by side. The perspective front row for race 2, or race 3 rather, is they've taken each other out on this first lap. Alex O'Grady had an incredible jump off the line. Not only did he get great traction, but incredible reaction time. Obviously, Enzo Holman making a little bit of a move on Fred Green at the beginning of turn 1. As we see two drivers sitting there, everyone looks to be okay, but obviously stuck in the gravel, so we'll be expecting a safety car shortly. And there it is.
Yeah, safety car has just been deployed to the racetrack. Just got that update from live timing. Obviously, I'm sure we'll see that incident once again coming down the hill. Very easy one, I guess. You know, as you've got relatively cold tyres, cold brakes, and you're coming down into what I assume is a very difficult braking zone.
Yeah, it's not a very hard braking zone, but this is an off-camber corner, and it's a very high-speed corner. When you're driving against a couple of different cars, right? Any start, like anything can happen on the start, right? You don't know how many cars are beside you because it's all happening very fast. So, yeah, it's hard to say. Obviously, we'll see the replay and get an understanding of what actually happened. Glad to see everyone's all right. Obviously, you know, you worry about your hands a little bit with tire-to-tire contact in these cars. There's no power steering, so tire-to-tire contact can whip the wheel around, but it seems like everyone's all right, which is good.
And also another thing, thankfully, at least for the mechanics, doesn't seem as though either car's particularly damaged through that. It seems like they just kind of bumped each other off the road. Is what it is. Obviously, we didn't have a safety car intervention on Saturday's race. We were racing a couple of days ago, but we do have one almost immediately here. Talk us through some of these replays.
Yeah, so obviously we're seeing the jump off the start. Everyone pretty well behaved, no stalls, no nothing like that. Here we've got Fred Green covering the inside of Enzo Holman, who's keeping an eye on, but then you've got Ingram Hill on the top side, which is, you know, another great start for both of them, really, or a poor start for Fred Green, it's hard to tell. Enzo Holman backed off just a little bit on the inside of turn 1. That opened the door for Thomas Ingram Hill, but it seemed like it was all right. Now let's see, it looks like Dayton Coulthard just locked both fronts, so maybe getting a little bit racy. He looked, obviously you're braking on the inside line here, so you're braking offline already, and some gravel flying there. Yeah. But he's braking on the inside, he's braking offline. It's the first race of the day, so the track is not particularly clean. The GTs were out earlier today, and I believe Janetta Juniors, or there was some other GT class out there, so they can clean up the track a little bit, but it's not often, especially in practice, that cars are going to be driving offline. So it's very easy when you're on the inside. Is that
Archie Bullard?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah. I also think as well, it did seem as though, at least from my eye, that Dayton Coulthard was right behind Emilio Valentino Del Grosso into that corner, and obviously when you're right behind, it takes that air off the front, and then I'm assuming it's probably a lot easier to lock up in that scenario.
Yeah, it is. It's these front wings, they're small. It's just one main plane, but like we talked about yesterday, or Saturday, excuse me, like we talked about then, there is a reason these front wings are on the car, and they do make a considerable difference. So entirely possible to a little bit of air off of that front wing and just lock the fronts.
Obviously, under the safety car, time ticking away, still counting down, and a fair amount for the marshals to do to clear both of those cars out of the way. Hopefully, we'll be racing in a couple of laps under the safety car, so there's plenty of time for them to relatively cool their tyres down. But, I mean, it's still not going to be particularly comfortable out there for the drivers. It's still very warm. You're quite rightly pointing out that Jordan Martin up to 11th position. Superb start from 15th.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. As we talked about, this is not an easy track to pass on, and you know, to make the most of what you can on the start is very, very well done. So almost in the top 10 for Jordan Martin in only her second, or technically 5th race, but the second round of the championship. Yeah. So really well done from her. We'll see how she fares on the restart, because you just never know what happens. Looks like we'll probably, I expect we'll have one more lap of caution as Dayton Coulthard's car is still sitting there. It looks like there's only one truck in that corner. So they've carried Josh McLean's car off, but yeah, really well done from Jordan Martin there.
Caution. God, I can tell you've been watching the Indy 500, maybe even the Coke 600 last night. Goodness me. I certainly was. Yeah, no, I think it's going to take another lap under the safety car before we're racing. So O'Grady's going to be ticking that one off and thinking, yep, that's fine. It's one more that I don't have to try and keep Fred Green. At the moment, fastest driver in the championship behind O'Grady from Green, Holman and Ingram Hill. That is the same top four as it was yesterday, with the exception of O'Grady and Green the other way around. Outside of that, they're pretty much status quo, and that's how they started this race as well, that top grouping, even with Hilton and Achetev. It just proves that run down into the opening corner at Old Hall is so short that it's so hard to make the most of it. I mean, Ingram Hill tried around the outside, but then was obviously squeezed out wide by Holman. I think that's all fair, and you're asking for it a little bit on the outside there.
Yeah, I think Fred Green was very gracious yesterday as an example through Cascades, giving Alex O'Grady the room on the outside. I don't think I would have done that. So very nice of him, and obviously it's never going to go that well every time. So they kept it clean. It's good. There's a little bit of movement, more movement than we saw last race in the top 10. We've got Luke Hilton up one spot, taking 5th place off of Matan Achetev. Torrin Byrne up 2 spots, so that bumps Fredrik Sigelski down, and Connor Willis as well. Del Grosso in the same position as the beginning. So a little bit of movement, but nothing out of the ordinary, but more than what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, indeed. I'm looking at the race results from Saturday. In the top 10, only one driver had gained or lost more than one position that was in the top 10. The top 4 started and finished where they were. Torrin Byrne gained 1 position on Achetev. Willis gained 1 position on Sigelski. Del Grosso got up to 9th position from 10th. Archie Davies gained 4 to move from 13th to 10th. Everyone else, it pretty much started where they were. So, again, that's just the nature of how it is around here. But, yeah, some of the drivers taking advantage. It's a little bit more chop and changing than what we had on Saturday. But O'Grady trying to take the victory and almost like reignite that championship charge. You can't let Green get too far away this early.
Yeah, it's a long championship. We've got 21 races on the calendar, and we're only 5 in by this point, or 4.5 really.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time, but yeah, you don't want to be caught sleeping, because at the end of the day, 1 or 2 points could make the difference. We saw last year we had 3 or 4 drivers in the championship, and it all came down to the very final race to lock that in. So yeah. It matters all throughout the season.
It was a fantastic championship fight. Isaac Phelps, who now races in Porsche, trying to take on Dan Ginchard, is in the paddock today. Harry Bansal, though, was the one who came out on top. A thrilling fight for the 2025 crown. And I do think the 2026 crown, I think we're going to have a great fight this season, though it might well be between O'Grady and Green. Hilton's got the speed as well. We saw that back in Silverstone. Up in 5th position. Can he find his way past Ingram Hill, who's also got such great pace in this championship, as to the 3 drivers ahead that finished on the podium yesterday. 12 minutes will be left in this race. When we go back racing, should be around 8 laps left of this race, this opening race of Bank Holiday Monday. O'Grady gets it fired up, and as he did last season, leads on Bank Holiday Monday. He crossed the line to start. The safety car boards will come in, and the green flag is out. It's O'Grady leading from Green, from Holman, from Ingram Hill, who's right on the rear end of Enzo Holman in the opening corner. Can he get a move done down the hill into Cascades? Looks further back, and a couple of moves trying to be made here as a few drivers trying to find the way through. Solen Amorausch trying to pick up a position for the Argentine, but not quite making that one stick at the opening corner.
Yeah, a very nice start from Alex O'Grady there. He did a great job. Did it a little bit earlier than I might have expected, but he got through the corner, and he's got a comfortable margin now all of a sudden. Enzo Holman really crowding the rear mirrors of Fred Green. We'll see if he's able to apply any pressure. Fred Green kept it very cool last race, but now he's following a car. Maybe he's got a little bit more dirty air. He has less experience around this circuit being behind a car than Enzo Holman and Alex O'Grady. So it's interesting to see, as we might get a pass into the chicane if he's able to get alongside, but not this time. A little bit of defensive move, that's totally allowed as long as there's 1 move per, as long as you make one move.
It's you're allowed to make 1 move defensively, and you can only move back over as long as you're giving a car width to the edge of the race surface is something along the lines of that is the official ruling. I'm sure you know it better than I do. As Archie Bullard gets his way past, that was on Lily Watkins to move up just outside of the top 20. That's in 26th position. Here comes Thomas Ingram Hill. Big look to the inside, trying to find his way past Enzo Hallman. Thomas Ingram Hill in the white and red. Enzo Hallman in the red and black. The bright orange of Fred Green has pulled himself clear ever so slightly. The gap over the line should be around 3/4 of a second for Alex O'Grady, who's just set the fastest lap, as you'd expect. After the safety car is actually over 1 second. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left to go.
Yeah, these guys are looking really racy today. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about the third race of the day as well, the reverse grid. But yeah, it's really P3 to, that looked like rubber just flying off of the car. It's really P3 to P5. There's a bit of a battle going on where one car will try to make a move, lose a bit of time, and then expose themselves to the car behind. But everything still remaining pretty close. We'll see if we get some more racing, because that dirty air really does create quite an interesting racing scenario.
Bit of a front right lock up there from Fred Green into the Shell Oils corner, the hairpin there. Bank though, so I'm sure not too much damage has been added to that front right as they navigate their way through the Britain's chicane into Hislops, and here comes a move further back. It's Chegelski trying to get past Torrin Byrne, who had a fantastic drive up to 5th position yesterday. Started from 6th, finished in 5th. Personal best performance so far in the GB4 Championship for the Pace Performance team. Superb stuff from Torrin Byrne. Really showed a lot of speed so far this weekend, but to try and keep Chegelski behind, Willis as well, Del Grosso, who's been on the podium in the opening race of the season, this is going to be a tough one for him.
Yeah, you see a little bit of a move. He's not looking to make a pass here. He's just looking to scare Torrin Byrne as he gets a little bit wide through Druids. But you saw Del Grosso and then Cegelski both take a jink on the inside just to make him known, like, hey, I'm here. But unfortunately, it looks like Cegelski made a little bit of a mistake, and Connor Willis is now on his tail, maybe making a move again, a defensive move to the inside, getting that preferred line. Connor Willis taking the racing line here. We'll see if he gets a good run out of, a little bit of contact, Connor Grant, and I can't see the number on that one. But
Jordan Martin.
Oh yeah, okay, so she is still making moves here.
Yeah.
Running in that pack. I spoke with her parents this morning, really proud of them. Or really proud of her, they are.
Yeah.
She's not got a ton of experience on that. She did motocross a little bit ago when she was smaller, turns out, and then did a little bit of oval racing as well. So she's only got about a year of circuit racing under her belt, and incredible job, really, seriously. This is really impressive for me.
Yeah, she's doing a great job at the moment in 11th position, trying to get past Del Grosso, but it does seem as though, kind of what you were saying, as soon as you go for a move and it fails, you then have to immediately look in your mirrors because someone's going on the attack on you. Kind of what Jordan Martin just had there. Had a little bit of a look on Del Grosso, then had a look down the inside from Conor Grant. Conor Grant goes for the move, doesn't work out. Then it's Jason Smith trying to do it, and this goes down and down and down and down and down the field. We even saw that a little bit higher up when Hallman tried to look on Green. He was then very quickly looking at his mirrors about Ingram Hill. The gap for the race lead goes to 0.8 of a second. It's closed down the previous lap, courtesy of the fastest lap coming in from Fred Green on the previous one. Fastest opening sector though on this lap was Enzo Hallman in 3rd, so he is trying to keep Fred Green within touching distance. 7 minutes left to go, about 1:35 a lap around here, so we're going to get ourselves probably about 5 or so more laps depending on where Alex O'Grady navigates his way round. He is doing brilliantly though. He's grown that gap once again with another fastest lap, 35.815, about 4/10 faster than the car behind.
Yeah, we're really seeing the pace of Alex O'Grady now that he's been set free from the shackles of dirty air, as you might say. He is looking really fast out there, so impressive from him. It's a shame for him that he missed out on that double pole, because it seems like he would have been able to take 2 wins on the day, but he's doing great. Fred Green still holding his own against Enzo Hallman, but Hallman, you know, the top 3, granted we had a safety car, the top 3 are staying a lot closer than they were last race.
Yeah, they are. They're staying pretty tight. But of course, the closer you are, the less grip you've got, and then the more you slide around, the more you damage the tyres. Sure, as much as we're a sprint race here and it's only 20 minutes, there's still got to be the thought of tyres and the strategy coming in for this afternoon's race, where the likes of O'Grady and Green will be starting from 12th and 11th positions. It's they've got to work their way through. They've got to have tyres left in the tank, at least from what they've got on the car right now, for that race. Whether you like it or not, tyre strategy and conservation of tyres is a thing in motorsport, whether you think it should or shouldn't be in something like this, it always will be. And you need to learn it somewhere, right? You can't just jump into British GT and expect it to know it. You can't jump into Formula 3 and Formula 2 and expect to know that already. You kind of have to learn it in the grassroots.
Yeah, and this is a great, relatively low-stakes championship to be doing it in. It took me a year to learn the tires in these cars as well. And yeah, they're a great set of tires. Obviously, there is a reason we have 1.5 sets. This is a lot of track time that these drivers are having. That's 20 minutes in qualifying of absolutely flat-out driving. That means you are going as fast as possible. You're scrubbing the tires. You're doing horrible, horrible things to them. And then you have to race on them. So you get another half set. A lot of the times what drivers will do is they'll put it on the outside, so the left side tires, so that they've got better grip. A little bit of a lock up there, but not on that new set of tires, so it shouldn't be a problem. And yeah, a lot of people will put tires on the outside so that they've got better grip, and then they might alternate, they might swap sides depending on how worked the tires are, if there's any damage between them. But a couple of drivers didn't put that on. Notably, Torren Byrne and Fredrik Skelski, I don't believe, put new tires on for this one, so they're saving that for the final race.
Yeah, which I back. We've got two of the Ardents here in battle. This is 15th position at the moment. It's Michael Coe with Charlie Myers behind. And make that Charlie Myers ahead. Look to the inside and the move between the two teammates. I'm sure that one's going to be absolutely fine. Not quite like what we've seen in the Grand Prix yesterday, with a bit of some very aggressive racing, very enjoyable racing, must be said, but not quite as leading it side by side into every single corner known to mankind. They were, I think, Michael Coe, as soon as he saw that move coming, was like, right, you're my teammate, you can go for it, it's fine.
Yeah, there is, admittedly, everyone wants every position that they can get, but there is a difference between fighting for the lead and fighting for not the lead, right? You might pick and choose your battles in that scenario. So, well done, keeping it clean, especially between teammates. If it wasn't a teammate, we might have seen some side-by-side action through there, but yeah, they keep it clean. It's not great to break that golden rule in racing, as it were.
Yeah, don't crash into your teammate, simple as that. Fastest lap comes in from Alex O'Grady once again, 35.482. That was about 4 tenths faster than Fred Green behind. We've got 3 laps left to go in this morning's race, and we'll have a breather for 5 hours before we go racing once again this afternoon. And I'm sure that last race here on Bank Holiday Monday is going to be absolutely crazy in all of the best possible ways. So I'm very, very excited to see that one. This one for Alex O'Grady looks to be a calm one. He had a couple of podiums last season around here, one of those being a victory. It does seem as though today might be another one. Tigalski right on the rear end of Torren Byrne. It would be, at the moment, another fantastic top 10 finish. Speaking of top 10 finishes, Connor Willis, it will be, at the moment, I don't believe in the commentator's curse, so it doesn't really bother me. It would be another top 10 finish. It would be 5 consecutive top 10 starts. That's incredible consistency.
It really is, especially in a championship like this where contact can happen. He's keeping it clean. He's doing a very, very good job. And this is kind of what championships are made of. Maybe not a top 10, but consistency and making sure you're finishing races and finishing them well. At the end of the day, he could be top 5 in points by the end of this weekend if he keeps it clean, keeps it on the track, because, yeah, sure, he's maybe not winning races every time, but a lot of the drivers have DNFs under their belt already, and he doesn't, and that's a big deal, and these are valuable points he's picking up. Another topic on the top 10, Jordan Martin has broke into the top 10, passing Del Grosso for that 10th spot, and again, really racy. Del Grosso, of course, he's got to be one of the happiest guys on the grid, in my opinion, because every time I see him, he's got a smile on his face. He's happy to be there. Really good racer, too. I think he's saving a little bit of energy for this last race. I don't believe I saw new tires on him, as opposed to, I think I did see some on Jordan Martin's car. So, obviously, it depends, because that reverse grid race, he'll be starting near the front. Maybe he wants to... Oh, that's a bit of a late move there. That's... that's Jasser Iskandar.
Yeah, trying to keep Amrouche at bay. Like I say, late sweep over. This is for the further down positions. It's 21st at the moment. It's Iskander. Amrouche looking to the outside. Holly Mile now stick it up the inside in the grey and blue and try and make the move into the Britain chicane. Can't quite do that here. They're not fighting for the points, but they are fighting for a bit of pride here.
Yeah, this has turned into a great battle. Obviously, this Britain chicane it's not a 2x2 kind of corner. You can't really do that. Rodrigo, it looks like, making a move on Holly Mile for that after, as we talked about, a little bit of a chop off, but no contact, everyone's through all right. But yeah, as we talked about, you make a move, it doesn't work, you back off, and someone's fighting back to take that spot. So a little bit of a mistake from her, but you have to go for it when you see that opportunity.
Yeah, it's the penultimate lap for these drivers here. They'll be coming across the line to start the final one, which Alex O'Grady has already begun his final 4.3 kilometre run around the Oulton Park International Circuit. There he is, our race leader. I mean, I can't think of how many more superlatives we can throw his way. It's been a perfect drive so far this morning.
Yeah, the level of confidence that he obviously has. He's pushing very hard, but obviously we haven't had the camera on him for that long, but it's flawless so far. I haven't seen a lockup from him. He had a perfect start. This is an incredible drive from him. As we said, there's not many more words we can throw at him at this point because it's just really well done.
Yeah, obviously last round at Silverstone, qualified in second position and fourth, ended up finishing in third and fifth, seventh in the reverse grid race. Was actually not amazingly pleased with it. He said it was fine, but like he is expecting to fight for the champion this season. Last season was all about learning, as you were saying. You learn the tyres throughout your opening year, and then in your second year, that's when you kind of can really get on after it. And Alex O'Grady here, who won around this very circuit last year, clearly loves Oulton Park and will work his way up towards the final corner. And for KMR Sport, it'll be another victory for them in the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. They've had so many to add to the list, but for Alex O'Grady, it'll be a second victory here in GB4 and here at Oulton Park. Brilliant drive from Alex O'Grady, who dominates the second race of the weekend and the fifth race of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Fred Green behind and Enzo Holman. It's the same top three, just a slightly different order from Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, no worries. Fred Green did a great job, kept it in second with pressure from Holman, who was obviously looking much more racy this weekend or today than he was on Saturday. So good pressure from him to apply onto Green. It's a shame we didn't really get to see some racing in that top three besides the first few laps, as we still see racing coming out of Lodge for that those final few positions. That's a great race that's been going on, but well done from everyone there as well.
Yeah, 21st on back seemed to have probably the biggest fight on the entire grid. Unfortunately, there's points only down to 20th. By the way, if you are a young racing driver coming through the ranks and your name is Alex, you should come and race in the GB4 Championship, because I'll tell you what, we've had 4 Alexes racing this championship. All 4 of them have race victories to their name. It was Alex Berg, Alex Walker, of course, Alex O'Grady, and technically Alex Catoulis. It's Alexander Catoulis. Yeah, it's Alex Catoulis.
Yeah.
There you go. If your name's Alex, you get a race victory. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a good deal to me. Maybe I'll change my name.
Yeah, exactly. And then just jump straight back in. You'll be all right. Great drive, though. Obviously, run the points and find out, but O'Grady will have closed up 6 points. That'll be down to 14 for the championship lead. Obviously, it's so early days to be talking championship, but it does feel like these two are starting to gap the field a little bit, but Ingram Hill and Holman are keeping really, really close.
Yeah, they're applying pressure. They're keeping everyone honest, right? All it takes, one DNF, and that championship is completely up in the air. You've got 4 people right back in it. It's not like the championship is over. And to be perfectly honest, with how the championship will go, unfortunately, there probably will be some DNFs for both of these drivers as the season progresses and these guys get a little bit more racy, a little bit more into it. Because at the end of the day, they want to win, and sometimes you got to take risks. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's that top 4 that are really, really strong. Luke Hilton bringing it home in 5th place as well. That's a great finish for him. I think that is technically his best finish on the season, if I'm not mistaken.
For Luke Hilton, it will be his best finish this season. Obviously had to start from the back in all the races at Silverstone, gained 45 places across the 3 races, had a best finish of 8th, retired from yesterday's, and now will finish in 5th. Our top 5 from that race being right at the back of it. Obviously, the question marks now go to the drivers and maybe even to their teams. Sure, that's been a great race and brilliant stuff, but now do we already start thinking about race 3? Do we already start getting that mindset on what's going to be happening a little bit later on this afternoon when the reverse grid will come into it? You can see Alex O'Grady out of the car there. It's the same 1-2 from the previous race, just the other way around. Of course, that one back on Saturday. Fred Green was victorious for the 3rd time. Smile on Alex O'Grady's face. We can see Fred Green there climbing out of the car. So he'll lose a little bit of ground on the championship lead. He will still lead it by 14 points, it'll be 134 points. We'll update with the championship standings a little bit later on once we've finished up with the highlights, and we'll get ready to see them onto the podium. Fred Green will be picking up his 4th bit of silverware. Alex O'Grady, a 3rd bit of silverware. Same with Enzo Hallman. For O'Grady and Hallman, it has been 5 consecutive top 10 finishes as well. There is only 3 drivers in the championship that has finished in the top 10 in all 3 races. Alex O'Grady, Enzo Hallman, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier on in the race, Connor Willis. So we'll have to chat with him probably at some point a little bit later on. Jon Jackson is getting ready to catch up with the top 3, so let's head on down to what is a pretty hot Park Fermé area.
Yeah, here we are. We're just having the photo taken of Alex O'Grady. We're going to jump in a second. There we go. Alex, you said on Saturday it's going to be a case of more of the same on Monday, and you managed to obviously convert that pole position into a win. How was it out there for you, as you expected?
It was tough, to be honest, because we haven't been out in a day, so the track is completely different. It's probably gone nearly a second a lap slower, the track, so it was quite oversteery in areas, and I had to learn that as I went. But Fred was on new tyre there, and clearly he didn't get the tyre to work early on, so I managed to pull a gap, and then I was in the rhythm, and the car was great. Kevin done a mega job this weekend, and yeah, hopefully in race 3 we can come through a bit as well.
Once you built out that lead, it's a bit of a shame to get our first safety car of the weekend. Were you in any way concerned when the restart came?
A bit, yeah, because I had a nice gap after lap 1, but I knew I had the pace, and in testing we've been very quick, definitely had the best pace of anyone on Friday, so I knew I could do the job.
And obviously we've got the reverse grid race coming up a little bit later on, maybe get some overtakes in.
Yeah, I mean, around here it's very hard to overtake and very easy to crash, so yeah, I won't be doing anything stupid. I think if we can just score points, that would be good, and beat green again.
Yeah, absolutely solid weekend already, so anything else is a bonus. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Go. Another win for Alex O'Grady. Let's move over to Fred Green. Already spoken to him a few times now. Fred, sorry to interrupt here. We sort of talked on Saturday about you'd need to make an overtake to keep that record of winning every qualified race intact, and obviously that hasn't happened, but it is very hard to overtake here.
Yeah, it is, and to be honest, we just struggled as myself and the team then. We didn't quite have the pace. I think even if we were off pole, we might have struggled a bit to win it. So, yeah, a bit frustrating. But Alex is doing a mega job. It's you've got to be on top of your game to be able to beat him around here. So yeah, I'm not too disheartened with a P2. Solid points. It's always nice to win, but keep racking up the championship points, and hopefully it'll be all right.
Did you feel when the safety car was there, you managed to get that gap down to pretty much nothing, that there was a chance he could maybe take him?
Yeah, I did, and because we had the new tyres and they didn't, I thought that might give me a chance to get them nice and ready to give him a good run for his money. But yeah, we just lacked pace, to be honest. The safety car restart was tricky. With the concertina effect, we went right on him. So yeah, that was also tricky. So yeah, we never put him under much pressure, but I don't think we could have, to be fair.
Well, look, another podium is solid for you, and the reverse grid race coming up later on. Do you think you're going to manage to get some overtakes? It's pretty tough here.
I think I'm just going to have to benefit from everyone else's misfortunes. At Silverstone, I was sort of forcing the problem, and it worked on the first lap, but then that didn't last the whole race. So yeah, I'm just going to take it nice and steady, and take advantage of everything I can, but just bring the car home is the main thing.
Yeah, hopefully get a few off the line. We'll wish you the best of luck for that, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
There we go. When we move around to Enzo Hallman, everyone congratulating each other. Another podium for you, another tricky race to make much ground on the top 2.
Yeah, I mean...
You can have a drink, it's fine. Go for it. It's all right. It's all about hydration today.
Yeah, thank you. No, of course a hot race, but I think I had a very good start. I was up side by side by green, but yeah, pace felt really good. Like I felt really fast, but in the dirty area you can't do much on this track. I was catching him, getting the understeer, dropped back, catching him, getting understeer, dropped back. So like can't do much.
I didn't have a chance to look at your tyres before the race. Did you go for new tyres? What's the situation for the reverse grid race?
I did go for new yesterday, so
okay.
Yeah.
So reverse grid race is coming up. What do you think you can achieve there?
I mean, hard to say. As I said before, like this track with the dirty air, it's quite impossible. But of course, we will have some slower drivers in front of us. So of course, try to get some positions, but still stay clean and just get some good points.
Well, fingers crossed. We wish you all the best of luck. We'll send you off to the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There we go. Enzo Hallman getting another podium as well. So the same 3 drivers we had on the podium on Saturday, and we'll see that podium in just a second as Lewis will talk you through that and the highlights.
Highlights from round 5 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Alex O'Grady starting from pole position, leading from Fred Green down into the opening corner. Fred Green had to worry though about an excellent start from Enzo Holman, who would make the move and try and go for it to try and steal second away. Bit of contact between Holman and Ingram Hill. A bit wide as well for Connor Grant in the Douglas Motorsports car. The Douglas Motorsports, though, it didn't go so well for Dayton Coulthard. Contact on the run down the hill with Josh McLean. They'll be starting from the front row potentially in the later race. In this one, it was a retirement. There was a great battle, though, between the two Ardens. It was Charlie Myers getting past Michael Coate and moving up the order into about 15th position before some big rises further up down the order as there were some big moves coming in. John O'Donnell, after a 5-place grid drop, was trying to get past Remy Bouquet and was indeed sneaking his way past. For Alex O'Grady, it was a brilliant drive to a second victory in the GB4 Championship and a third podium in 5 races. A great start to the championship, Fred Green behind and Enzo Holman the podium. We'll take a look at provisional race results then from the opening race here on Bank Holiday Monday. It is Alex O'Grady from Fred Green and Enzo Holman the top through. Thomas Ingram Hill and Luke Hilton will round out the top 5 with Adjective, Byrne another good drive, then Tugelski, Willis making it 5 top 10s from the opening 5 races season, and Jordan Martin into the top 10 for the first time in her career. Del Grosso in 11th position with Grant and Smith, then it's Davies and Myers with Coe, Bouquet, O'Donnell, Leverton and Nolan in 20th position. Those final finishes being Iskander, Amrouche, Ruggiero, Mile, McDaniel and Watkins. Jamie Bullard just about finishing on the lead lap, with McLean and Coulthard both retiring from the race. Championship-wise, we'll quickly have a look in that neck of the woods where Fred Green is still your championship leader. 134 points to his name. Alex O'Grady, after 3 podiums, is in 2nd position. Then Holman in 3rd with 3 podiums to his name too this weekend. Thomas Ingram Hill and Jason Smith still hanging on to the top 5. Adjective, Willis, Byrne, Coulthard and Del Grosso, the top 10 of the championship. Really good to see those top 5. We'll head down into the podium and see exactly what these drivers' emotions are like. They'll hopefully be pretty excited, although I can guarantee that those bottles of bubbly will not be sprayed around. Certainly not on a day like this. It'll get very hot and sticky. They'll be very much wanting to keep the race suits as dry and cool as possible, ready for the reverse grid race. Onto the podium then, as you can hear, Enzo Holman, the Swedish sensation, after 2 podiums this weekend so far, 3rd and 3rd. He'll take to that 3rd step of the podium. Fred Green, 4th podium this season, most podiums so far in 2026. And of course the highest point score with 134. Alex O'Grady for a 2nd time in his career and a 6th time onto the podium. It's a 2nd victory. Here the cheer for the KMR Sport team. They know what it takes to get it done in this championship, of course, having won the title with Tom Mills back in 2024 and having a whole host of victories, multiple teams championships, and the MSV chief executive there, Jonathan Palmer, handing out the trophies as he had done back in Silverstone as well. We'll sure be seeing Jonathan Palmer a little bit later on this weekend, staying around for that 3rd reverse grid race a little bit later on this afternoon, which is going to be very important for the championship challenge. You know, you've got to keep your nose clean in that one, got to keep it inside those points paying positions. Top 15 in that race will score points, and the drivers will already be thinking about that one, I am sure. We'll head down to Jon Jackson then and get a little bit of a race wrap-up.
Well, there we go, the podium for the 2nd race. Same drivers that we saw on Saturday and racing very hard around this track.
Yeah, slightly different order, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Alex O'Grady had an incredible start, and Alex O'Grady had an incredible start. He held his own and really took off there. So we saw the pace of him, you know, being in free air, and that was really well done by him.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a restart like that, when you have a safety car, it must be pretty nerve-wracking to be a driver sat there knowing that, A, if you're leading, you've got to make sure you get a good restart, and if you're second, there's a good opportunity for you.
Yeah, I think, you know what, to be honest, I think 2nd is the most stressful position on a restart because the leader, at least this time around, gets to choose when you go, and they can go whenever they want. So as long as you've done it before, it's a good job. But keeping that reaction time going, with Fred Green being in second place, holding off because you've got the dirty air. This is the closest that any car is going to be to you. The third place car. So well done by all of them. But yeah.
Got a reverse grid race coming up a little bit later on. As a driver, tell me what the good things and bad things about the reverse grid race.
Well, as we saw in this one, obviously there's a little bit of difference in the starting order, because race 2 is the grid from the second fastest lap. So maybe drivers only got one fast lap and they started a little bit out of position, which is why we might have seen some better racing. But this time around for the race 3 grid, everyone's going to be out of place, right? The top 12, who've obviously been very, very racy, they're going to be in all different spots on the grid. So we'll see some really good racing for this one, now that everyone's super comfortable on the track, super comfortable with the racing style. All these drivers have followed, they've led. So we'll see some really proper racing now, I think.
Amazing. Yes, well, Alex McGlade is just getting his photo taken on the podium there. Before we sign off and let you know when you can watch the reverse grid race, as a driver now with about 5 hours off, what are you doing now, next?
Oh gosh, in this heat I might take a nap, but obviously with these races you want to stay awake for as much as possible. You don't want to fall asleep during the day. So in time they'll go over the data once their cars are out of Parc Fermé. Get some water, stay hydrated, stay fed, stay cool. That's the most important part, but really just bide your time.
Yeah, that's the way. I'd definitely be sleeping for me. Right, so me and Jason will be back a little bit later on to bring you the third race of the weekend. It's the reverse grid race. It's going to be fascinating, that one. It's round 6. It's a 3 p.m. race start, which means we'll be live from 2:40 p.m. your pre-show. We're going to go and chat to some of the drivers that impressed us in that round, and there was a few. I mean, Jordan Martin was one that got into the top 10. We're going to go and chat to her in just a second. We'll bring you that before the next race. So that is the race of the weekend in the GB4 Championship, reverse grid race, 2:40. You can watch it exactly where you're watching this right now, and of course highlights will be uploaded very, very soon to the GB4 social media, so you can watch that race back.